America, land of opportunity, home of the free, and the world's largest economy. We've got it all: gadgets, gizmos, and enough military firepower to make a Roman emperor blush. But here's the kicker, folks. We're also in debt. Up to our eyeballs, really. As of January 2nd, 2025, the national debt clock is spinning faster than a hamster on a wheel after a triple espresso. So how did we get here? How can a nation so rich be so deep in the hole? Buckle up, America, because it's time for a debt-defying adventure. It's like going to a fancy restaurant and ordering everything on the menu twice, but then realizing you left your wallet at home. Except, in this case, home is future generations. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about our future, our children's future, and maybe even their children's future. Are we going to be the generation that saddles them with a mountain of debt and a shrug? Or are we going to face this challenge head-on, with honesty, responsibility, and maybe a little bit of that American ingenuity we keep bragging about? The clock is ticking, America. Let's get to work. Believe it or not, America's debt isn't a new problem. It's older than your weird uncle's vinyl collection and just as dusty. Our founding fathers, those powdered wig-wearing revolutionaries, actually started us off with a bang of debt, that is. The American Revolution wasn't cheap, and we had to borrow money from our French buddies to fight for our freedom. But it wasn't just the revolution. Every time America has faced a major crisis, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Great Recession, we've reached for our national credit card. And just like your own credit card after a weekend in Vegas, it's come back with a hefty bill. The 2008 financial crisis was a doozy. Remember the housing bubble burst? Well, bailing out the banks and stimulating the economy cost trillions. And then came the COVID-19 pandemic, which was like throwing gasoline on an already raging debt fire. The point is, America has a bit of a spending problem. We like to throw money at problems, hoping they'll just go away, but just like that pile of laundry you've been ignoring, it just keeps growing bigger. Let's talk about spending, baby. Specifically, government spending. Now, I'm not saying all government spending is bad. We need roads, schools, and a military that can actually find its own boots. But when the government spends more than it takes in through taxes, we get a budget deficit. And guess what? The US government has been running a deficit for decades. But it's not just the government's fault. We, the people, have to take some responsibility too. We love tax cuts. Lower taxes, lower taxes. But then we complain about potholes the size of small cars and schools that look like they were designed by a pack of rabid squirrels. You can't have your cake and eat it too, America. Unless you're willing to put it on your national credit card, of course. And let's not forget about those pesky interest payments. Remember all that debt we've been racking up? Well, it comes with interest. And just like your student loans, those interest payments never seem to end. In fact, they grow over time, eating up more and more of our budget. So we've got a perfect storm brewing. High spending, low taxes, and sky-high interest payments. It's enough to make even the most optimistic American want to bury their head in a bucket of fried chicken. Section 4, the crushing weight of healthcare and aging. Now let's talk about healthcare. No, wait, come back. This is important. America spends more on healthcare than any other developed country. And yet, we still have millions of people without insurance and outcomes that are, frankly, embarrassing. Why is our healthcare so expensive? Well, it's a complicated mess of insurance companies, drug companies, and a system that seems designed to confuse rather than heal. And guess what? All that expensive healthcare is a major contributor to our national debt. But wait, there's more. America is getting older. Baby boomers are retiring in droves, and they're taking their Medicare and Social Security benefits with them. These programs are vital, but they're also incredibly expensive. And as the number of retirees grows, so too will the cost of these programs. So we've got a double whammy, a healthcare system that's bleeding us dry, and an aging population that's going to require even more spending in the future. It's enough to make you want to fake your own death and move to a deserted island. Just make sure they have good healthcare. Section 5. Can America dig itself out? So, can America dig itself out of this debt hole? The short answer is, maybe. The long answer is, it's going to be really, really hard. We need to get serious about reducing government spending. And no, I'm not just talking about cutting funding for Big Bird or the National Endowment for the Arts. We need to take a long, hard look at our priorities and make some tough choices. We also need to raise taxes. I know, nobody likes to pay more taxes, but it's either that or continue to pass the buck to future generations. And let's be honest, they're going to have enough problems to deal with without inheriting our massive debt. But most importantly, we need to work together. This isn't a Republican problem or a Democrat problem, it's an American problem. We need to stop with the partisan bickering and start finding common ground. The future of our country depends on it, because if we don't get our fiscal house in order, we're going to be left with a whole lot of debt and not much else. And nobody wants to see America go bankrupt, except maybe China.